our first guests have been journeying across the country, breathing new life into cherished classics.
Yes, indeed. Before we chat to Pat Shortt and Mike Hanrahan, let's see this musical duo in their recent TV hit, Songs of Music.
So the song we're going to sing, Meeting of the Waters, it's one you sing in the shower every day, I'd say, isn't it?
Now, I haven't sang it before, but being from Wicklow and being to the location, the Meeting of the Waters, I definitely was aware of the song and also of Sir Thomas More as well. When we see them reflected from looks that we love, when we see them reflected from looks that we love.
That's a clip from Songs of Ireland, and it's great to have with us now Pat Shortt and Mike Hanrahan. Hello, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Was that beautiful?
Yeah, it was a
gorgeous vocal there.
Oh, listen, we had such a blast doing that TV show. It was hard to take a check, wasn't it, at the end?
Was it though, Pat?
No, we met some beautiful artists. That young girl was in Kildare, wasn't it? Was it Kildare, yeah?
In Wicklow.
Wicklow, I beg your pardon. It was Wicklow, yes. And there was just amazing vocalists, amazing tunes, and great interpretations of old classics, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it was fantastic. And we took on some of the big, heavy songs and gave them to the young artists who they lapped it up.
Yeah.
And they gave us their interpretation of the song. Some of the artists had never heard of these songs. It was incredible. We can't take them for granted. But the young artists took them on, and yeah, we had such.
And Pat, Songs of Ireland, how did it come about?
Well, it's kind of an idea that we were talking about together, doing something with it. We've known each other for years doing it, but of course the producer, Brian Redden, came in and he was the one that was his idea. I'm just after laying claim to it there, so thanks, Brian.
Good man, Mike.
No, so it came about, yeah, and Brian approached you first, doesn't it,
yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, I met him out walking, and he said about this idea, and then we had coffee. The three of us had a coffee, and the deal was sealed, and they went to work getting the artists and getting the locations, and we just turned up and.
And then we turned up. Mike was great with the arrangements and everything else, and it was just one of those magical kind of gigs you do, where we just went traveling around every day. We were with a new artist. We did 20 songs in 20 counties. So unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to get around to 32 counties.
What a road trip.
But it was incredible. We went everywhere around the country. But we spent a day with each artist. So it was quite intensive because we had to shoot, as you guys know, in television, you have to shoot all the links and all the other small stuff as well as doing the important stuff, which was the song itself. And then the next day we went on to another artist in a whole different genre and style. And it was just amazing.
Yeah, and we were blessed because it was last summer, so the weather was gorgeous. So we got to see Ireland in all its glory.
Looked out well.
Yeah,
beautiful. Really looked out.
Absolutely beautiful. So it was stunning.
And here, another beautiful thing, this beautiful duo, right? Yeah. How did this come to be, Mike? How did you meet Mr. Pat Shortt?
Well, I met Pat. He was a roadie actually with John Kenny, and we kind of felt sorry for him. He would look haphazard down in a beautiful theatre in Limerick, the Belltable Arts Centre, and the Belltable was very much Stockton's wing venue. We had played a lot there, and Pat was doing support. And then you came working with John, and you used to join him on the saxophone.
That's right.
So I knew Pat as a musician first, before I ever knew him as an actor.
And we used to meet up a lot. It's a small country. We're crossing over each other's paths and everything else. So we knew each other. And then we worked together a little bit. And then many years later, I had a bar down in Cork, and I was looking for a head chef, and I rang Mike to see did he know anyone, because Mike is a chef as well, and Mike says, yeah, I'll do it.
You got the gig. And Pat, I know your dad, Christy, sadly passed away last year. He was a massive musical influence in your life.
Huge. He was an amazing musician himself. I can't speak highly enough of everything he did, and I don't even know half the things he did. I know he played with Sean O'Riordan when he was a young student in University in Cork, and he went on to play Windy Oireachtas a couple of years, and also he was a great trad musician. And he's the only person I know that played at his own funeral.
Tell us the story.
Well, it was just shortly, he got COVID and got ill and went into hospital. One of those classic stories didn't come out, which is quite sad. But he had played the Wednesday before. He used to play, he was 92 and he was playing every Wednesday in the pub. And he played this beautiful slow air. It's a buccal Dove something. I can't remember the name. But it's a beautiful slow air. Somebody recorded it on the phone, and he always kind of said, look, if I ever, at my funeral, I'd love that to be played by someone. But we couldn't get someone to play it. So someone said, why don't you play the recording of it? And it was absolutely stunning.
Stunning.
And it was, it was just a lovely moment. It was a beautiful moment.
Lovely way to remember him as well.
Yeah, it really was.
Absolutely. Now, the two of you play so many amazing songs together, but Mike, is there any one particular song you're looking forward to putting your own spin on it?
There's so many great ones. I have to say, I've thinking about this. There's Four Green Fields, the song. I knew as a kid, and I knew Tommy Makem, who wrote it, and I'd met Tommy when he was with the Clancy Brothers a few times, but I'd never really understood the history of the song and what it meant to him. And meeting his nephew up in Armagh, and he put us through the history of the song. I've fallen in love with the song, and it's the one I love. And I can't wait to do a gig with you. We'll start next week, So there's a lot of great songs.
I think, you just mentioned there, like meanings behind different songs. Yeah. Is there, a story behind a particular song, Pat, that really stood out to you in among all of these songs?
Well, the beautiful thing of the tour we did that time, we had an expert meet us along the way, so there was quite a few funny, interesting ones. So I'll fly through them because I know we don't have much time, but there was an old woman from Wexford. It's a great song, it was a great artist called Jackson sang it. And we had an expert there, and the first thing he says, well, just say that the song isn't from Wexford at all. There was an old woman from Boston, it's the original one, in different towns and places. And of course, the White Colonial Boy, we had an expert talk to us there about that. And of course, it turns out he might have been from Australia. He wasn't from Kerry at all. But that won't stop them with tour buses and statues and monuments.
Every day is a school day. And Mike, from your time at Stockton's Wing as well, I know you had a session, you shared the stage with the one and only Sammy Davis Jr. on stage. Tell us that story.
In the old Aviva Stadium, he did 2 nights with Frank Sinatra and Liza Minnelli. The Ultimate Event, it was called. And we played at a private party across the road in the Horseshoe House the night before. And Sammy Davis came in and he stopped listening to listen to us. And he just said, will you guys join me tomorrow night on stage? So we did. We had 2 of the most amazing nights. And he tap danced a couple of tunes on stage. And with Liza Minnelli looking on and clapping us. And it was just a beautiful 3 days of our lives. And he was such a humble man. He gave me one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned when I went to say thanks so much because we think you're an amazing actor. And he said, life is a 2-way street, Mike. Never forget it. And I've never forgotten it. I think it's a great life lesson I got from Sammy Davis.
Absolutely.
Wonderful man.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. Pat, we can't have you here and not talk about Bodkin, hugely successful Netflix series. Now, acting alongside a bull, I've heard. Surely that must have been up there for a very interesting.
Yeah, it was a funny one because I can't remember, the scene was changed around. And then I turned up and Jez, the showrunner and writer, said, look, I always wanted a scene with your character and the bull. And I thought, that's good, but I don't really want to do it. So I was like, oh, listen, I don't know if you've ever worked with a bull.
No.
It's nerve-wracking. How would you look? There's a one beside you there now.
A young bull. Boys, you're going to finish out with a performance. I see the saxophone there, Pat.
Oh, just watch it. Look at this.
Look what you pulled out. What are you going to play for us?
We're going to give you a tune, because this is a tune that's...
Tipperary song.
It's a Tipperary song. But it kind of started this recent kind of thing with us. I was asked to do a show called Glowntree a couple of years ago, and fantastic show in TG Carr, and it was based around Tipperary. So I asked Mike, would he join me on it? And we did this song called... the Glen of Aherlow or Patrick Sheehan.
Beautiful.
So it's a gorgeous song. So we're going to try that verse or two. Give you a own time, Cleave. My name is Patrick Sheehan. My years are 34. Tipperary is my native place, not far from Galtymore. I was born of honest parents, but now they're lying low. 'Tis many a pleasant day we spent near the Glen of Aherlow. My father died, I closed his eyes outside his cabin door. The landlord and the sheriff too They were there the day before, and then my loving mother and sisters 3 also. They were forced to go with broken hearts from the glen of Arlo.
To sing like that in the pubs down in Tip in Thurles.
Exactly.
Anyway, you can catch Pat and Mike as they tour live right around the country, hitting all the intimate spots, I believe, boys.
Yes.
That sounds a little rude. Anyway, for tickets and details, head over to patshortt.com.
Now, coming up, we're celebrating the sound of Hollywood. Find out more after the break.
All those intimate spots.